Welcome you guys to your boy Josh Vision's Empire Season 3, Episode 1 review. And the episode was entitled Light and Darkness. So we begin this episode with us discovering that it was actually Rhonda that got thrown off the top of the building. And I'm just telling y'all right now, I knew it was going to be Rhonda. Because I knew damn sure it wasn't going to be Anika. It's like, let's be real here. Anika just got married to Lucius due to the feds. Because if Lucius didn't do it, they would have found evidence on him, so he had no choice. And plus, she's pregnant with Hakeem's baby, so why the fuck would they kill her off? So I wasn't entirely surprised. But I didn't want Rhonda's character to die. I wanted her to find some way to escape death, which she has done a very good job of the last few seasons. But yeah, anywho, before that even happens, we have Hakeem storming out. He's rightfully angry at his father for marrying his baby mama. And also, he's still teed off about the fact that Laura, someone who he fell in love with, all that stuff, and they all made promises to each other, especially Laura saying that she's always down for him. She just left him at the altar, which we all see at the season finale. So he's obviously feeling some type of way. So we see him pretty much leave off in a just married car that was obviously intended for him and Laura, which I thought was really fucked up. Just thinking about like, damn Hakeem. Shit. All in one day, your world was turned upside down. But yeah, after that, we have Lucius and Jamal looking around the area. We notice that they both notice that the feds are all around. So Lucius says, you know what, get your grandma out of here. I don't want her in this type of environment. Just take her back to the house. So Jamal says, come on, grandma. So they're about to bounce. And that's when that scene coincides with Rhonda being thrown off, the building straight down to her death. And what really made the scene very creepy was the fact that Lucius looked up and he knew it was Anika. I'm not for sure if they made eye contact because it was so quick, because as soon as, Rhonda, fell, whatever, you have Andre just like, no, and then just rushed there and just pushed Anika out the way. And before he pushed her out the way, Anika's like, I'm sorry, Andre, she attacked me first. I had no other alternative. So when that happened, you have Andre essentially trying to strangle Anika. But ironically, while he's strangling her, her water breaks. And Anika's essentially begging for her life and the child's life. So Andre, just without any, just right off like that, snap a finger, he immediately asks for help, taking her to the hospital to give birth to his baby brother's kid. So the scene ends with Lucius and Jamal and Grandma Lion, or Walker, just looking at Rhonda's dead corpse. And it was really fucking freaky and tragic. Just that the last few seconds of that scene, her eyes are open, bro. Just creepy as shit and sad. Just because the character, I feel as though the character, there was a better way of how they could have ended the character. I just felt as though it wasn't the right time for her to go, in my opinion. But yeah, and the blood trickling out her mouth. Oh my God. Damn, that was really fucking tragic. One of the great characters on the show. In my opinion, she should stay, like I said before, but I digress. We move on. So the next scene, we have Hakeem going over to his ex's / I would assume one of his best friends, Tiana's crib. And he's pretty much saying, I loved you, Tiana. I always did love you. That bitch tricked me. That bitch curved me at the altar. And he's trying to have sex with her, but the dude is so fucking drunk. He passes the fuck out of the fucking on her couch. And Tiana really doesn't know how to react. She's all saying to Hakeem, he can't be here, but she sees his condition, whatever. And I believe she peeps the photo of them together back when they were dating. And then she was like, oh God, like she's conflicted. And it seems to me that she's probably dating someone at this point. Just in my opinion. Anywho, before that scene ends, we notice that Jamal is calling Hakeem, But Hakeem, as I mentioned before, is fucking passed the fuck out drunk. So the next scene, we have Cookie, who's clearly who seems shaken herself about Rhonda's death, as well as Andre. Andre is just like in his own fucking world, but rightfully so, considering he's seen what happened to his wife, traumatic and all the shit Andre went through. It seems like him and his wife were finally on good terms, and this shit happens. Damn. But yeah, so Cookie pretty much tells Andre, we have pretty much I have Rhonda's belongings. Here you go. She's pretty much like trying to help Andre mourn a bit, saying that maybe they can go to the church and speak to the pastor. And Andre is like, essentially, fuck the pastor. What's he gonna tell me? This is God's plan? Well, you know what? I've been listening to God's plan. It hasn't done a damn thing for me. My wife is gone. You know what? At this point, I don't give a shit about God's plan. I'm done. And he just leaves off. And you have Cookie, like at this point, she's just trying to barely keep it together herself, It's bad enough that, with Anika being married to Lucius, the 17 years, all the shit, all that. And just the fact that all this is like so much things that just happen in the span of a few hours. Like, it's just crazy. So she's trying to find out, like, in my opinion, like saying to herself, damn, how the fuck can I keep my sanity? So I believe after that we have Grandma Walker saying, this family is cussed, la-di-da, and then Cookie's kind of like, shut up, okay? Shut your mouth. We don't have time for this right now. And after that, we have Lucius asking Jamal, where's Hakeem? And Jamal's like, he's not answering his phone. And Lucius like, your brother's a selfish son of a bitch. So I believe after that, we have Cookie saying, well, you did marry his baby mama. And before that can be pretty much discussed, we essentially have Lucius going into, pretty much the room in which Anika's giving birth. And I believe while he's there, he's acting all nice and shit. They're asking him, hey, the father's supposed to be here for the birth. He's like, well, I'm the husband of her. I'm the husband of Anika. So they kind of look at each other, but they continue on, business as usual, giving birth. So Lucius is looking like he's all positive, be all nice to Anika. And he whispers into her ear, pretty much look at the window. The feds are all around. And he says, listen, here's your story when it comes to Rhonda. You pretty much said that Rhonda committed suicide. You tried to stop her, but she overpowered you. And that your momentum literally sent her over to her crashing death. Or, bitch, I will choke you and do what I have to do. And you pretty much telling her, you know what I'm capable of doing. So after that, she gives birth. And at first, you would assume it's a boy. And so did Lucius. But, but the doctors say to him, it's a girl. And Lucius' face was priceless. He looked at her like, bitch, Trick, you told me it was a boy. And I bet Anika had the same look too. Like, oh, damn, I done fucked up again with this dude. And then they asked him, do you want to cut the umbilical cord? And Lucius is like, nah, I'm good. So the next scene we have is, if I remember correctly, it's Lucius, Jamal, Hakeem, and Cookie pretty much in the main room of, of the company, whatever. So, no, I'm sorry. It was another interesting scene that happened before that. And it involves Lucius, French Montana, Birdman, and some other dude. I don't know that rapper's name, but whatever. So they're playing cards, they're smoking, and Lucius is trying to convince Birdman, French, and company to give their catalog to him, because he's trying to relaunch his previous stream and rebranded as Empire Extreme. But essentially, Birdman is against it, and French Montana. Birdman saying, listen, man, everything in Empire is going down the gutter. It would be stupid for us to even do business with you right now. It won't be long till Empire is done. And then Lucius like, listen, man, you know how I do. I always find a way to win. He says, I am the King. And when he said that, the look on Birdman's face and Fish Montana was like, who the hell does this dude think he is? Birdman says, listen, I've been in this game for 30 years. If you're a king, then what am I? He would say, how can you be a king if you lost your queen, a.k.a. Cookie? And then Fish Montana asks, listen, man, you like that Titanic. Your anchor's going down, bruh. He's like, your ex, you married your ex? This is some shady shit going on pretty much. He doesn't feel the vibe and all that stuff. He seems like everything's all it's not adding up. It's sort of reiterating what Birdman and him was saying earlier about Empire is going down the toilet. But Lucius is like, listen, y'all gonna regret not giving me y'all catalogs because I'm gonna make the streaming thing, New York. I forgot what he said in that little part of his sentence, but he pretty much said he's gonna make it his bitch, and that they're gonna regret, not giving their catalogs to him, and then he's gonna return once again to the top like he always does. So the next scene, which I was trying to get to, is pretty much like I mentioned before. You have Jamal, Hakeem, Lucius, and Cookie in the same room, and they're talking about about the Empire Extreme concert and how vital it is. And Lucius is pretty much asking, where's Andre? And it turns out Andre is living with Jamal right now after the death of Rhonda. And I believe Lucius is calling Andre selfish, if I remember correctly, or he was hinting at that. And Cookie's saying, listen, what do you expect? His wife just died, And she pretty much tells Jamal to tell Andre that his family gives him all the support in the world, and that she's truly sorry that business has to be going on to right now, despite the fact that he's mourning his dead wife. And Lucius is just like, I don't give a fuck. This is about our legacy. This streaming concert is our legacy. It was just Lucius being Lucius. So after that, we essentially have Lucius pretty much telling Jamal that, listen, we're going to need you to sing at the concert. You're the hero. And the Hakeem is just saying really? Really? He said, I got an idea. How about I perform the concert? Give them something real. And then Lucius looks at him and is like, well, if you do it, can you be sober? And then Hakeem says, well, no, I'm tired of you disrespecting me. And then he said, I'm a grown-ass man. And then Lucius like, well, you're a grown-ass man. Then why did you miss the birth of your daughter? And then Hakeem's like, I don't know. Why would you put your name on my daughter's birth certificate? And then had the audacity to have her with you when I'm her father. And Lucius is like, well, until you start acting like a man, I'm a keeper. And Hakeem's like, listen, it's my daughter. And he gets up ready to throw down and shit. And I'll tell you what, if this was Hakeem and he acted like, well, let's say, all right, put this. Let's say this was Hakeem and him and Lucius having an argument, right? Season 1, Lucius would have mopped the floor with his ass. Season 2, I wouldn't say Lucius would mop Hakeem, but Hakeem wouldn't win. Season 3, I still have a feeling that Lucius will probably beat Hakeem, but the gap has closed in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised, if Hakeem and Lucius ends up fighting. And I wouldn't be surprised if Hakeem actually beats Lucius' ass, because it's just been brewing, especially since the end of the season finale of season 1, all of season 2, just the shit that Lucius has put Hakeem through. And now with the whole daughter situation, it's just like at some point, Hakeem got to beat his dad's ass. At some point, he has to. And I think all you that's listening agree with me. But yeah, but before tempers flare, Cookie comes in and pretty much Hakeem says to Cookie that, listen, what are you going to do about this? I don't see no brooms around here. I'm a grown-ass man. You ain't going to beat me with no broom no more. Those days are done. You know? And then Cookie is kind of has that look on her face like, damn, he is a grown-ass man. I can't be doing that to him anymore. But she does say something very interesting. She's saying, you know what, Hakeem? I'm tired of beating your ass. But you know what's the most horrible thing you could do? And that would be if you don't, if you become a deadbeat my bad. If you become a deadbeat dad and don't pretty much live up to your other responsibilities as well, then you will lose my respect. And just with that, it seemed like that struck a nerve. I think that's the interesting thing about Cookie. Let's be real honest here. Cookie has always had a way on how to really hit Hakeem where it hurts, or to pretty much give him a reality check. And she never needed a broom. She just did it because she just wanted to do it. But she's so good at it. But after that, you have Hakeem say, I'm going to the studio. And just like season 1 and 2, when Hakeem runs away, she's like, yeah, you're going to run away just like a little girl. And then Jamal's like saying, well, what are you doing? Come on now. She's like, man, boy, he deserves it. Leave me alone. So Jamal goes out to Hakeem. Lucius says, thank you for having my back when it came to Hakeem. And pretty much Cookie admits that I didn't have your back. I'm just trying to keep the family together. Hakeem had every reason to pretty much lash out at you and pretty much want to fight you. Like, come on now. You took his baby mama. Now you got his daughter. You're talking shit about Andre when his wife died and, and other stuff. And now you want Jamal to perform, asking me if he's ready to perform, knowing it's probably been only a month or so, maybe 2 months since he got shot by Frida. So, God, this family's crazy. That Cookie said, and then Lucius pretty much trying to say that, you know what, I know when I look at you, you got the look in your eyes, I know you still got that fire and that we can still be together. But Cookie's like, listen, G, hold on. You're married and you ruined this. It wasn't me. Pretty much it's over and deal with it. So that's how that scene ends. So the next scene we have Hakeem just spinning it in the studio, and he's killing it. But we have Exhibit's character, Shine, come in, and he has his goons with him, and he has this interesting new female character whose name is Nessa, and he tells Nessa to sit, and she sits down. She's on her little iPhone and shit, and pretty much Shine just barges right in, and he tells Hakeem, pretty much the mixing is whack. And he was saying that he had to, in order to help, improve it, he had to pretty much something with the distortions. He had to distort it a little bit. And then you have the mixer guy, the producer, whatever. He's like saying, dude, what the fuck you doing? And then Shine just grabs the motherfucker, just throws his ass across the room, literally. And Hakeem has that look like, what the fuck? And everybody in the room does too. Like Hakeem's entourage. They're like, what the fuck? So Hakeem gets out of the booth, and he's like, no, a little bit. Let me backtrack a little bit. Sean's saying when he actually starts fucking with the shit a little bit more, he was saying, well, maybe now you won't sound like such a white girl. And then he said, listen, Hakeem, you haven't gave me any of those tracks that me and you agreed upon. And then Hakeem's like, well, listen, man, you broke up my wedding, bruh. And then Sean kind of smart because, he's like, well, that is true. But he had a retort for that saying, well, listen, man, there are only two types of women in this world. You got runners and riders. Guess what yours was? Oh, such a burn, yo. Damn. So after that, Hakeem gets off the booth. He's like, listen, man, you're not part of my team. You're not even part of Empire. I'm just asking you to leave. And like I said before, this Hakeem, I'm so thankful for the season 2 because this Hakeem is like, you can actually see him as a threat now. You don't see him as like no spoiled punk ass kid anymore. You literally see him as being someone that can handle their own, even against characters like Sean and Lucius. But Sean, that nigga's a crazy motherfucker. Like shit, I thought season 2 finale, he was, but damn, this dude, he just seems like a problem, especially after what happens when Lucius shows up. So Lucius shows up with security right on time, and Lucius calls Shine Moonshine. And has security, he's trying to have security pretty much get him out the studio. And Shine's like, listen, I ain't leaving shit, bruh. I'm not leaving. And he pretty much says what he said last season, say that Lucius betrayed him and all that stuff and never gave him exactly what he owed him. And Lucius like, listen, man, I never left you behind. God left you behind. Pretty much calling him mediocre instead of talented. So Shine tells his boy, one of his goons, to bring the mixer that he threw across the room, bring him to the table close to him. So the dude's on his knees, whatever, his hands on the table, and Sean gets something and just goes to work on that dude's hand, breaking it. It was just like a really uncomfortable scene. And Hakeem has that look like, what the fuck? Everybody got like that what the fuck look. Even Lucius. And then Sean's like, now look at him. He's mediocre. Now he's expendable or something to that extent. And he says before he leaves, listen, Hakeem, you don't. Don't let anyone otherwise tell you so. Staring right at Lucius. And then his entourage just bounces after. And then you have Lucius thinking to himself damn, another motherfucking enemy. And one thing that I should mention before I finish up with in regards to this scene is that pretty much Shine also mentioned that he ain't going not just because he doesn't want to go, it's also because he might snitch to Tyreek. So damn, yeah, another enemy. So when that scene ends, whatever, we have a brief scene with Cookie and her sister. Cookie and her 2 sisters, and they're talking good times, all that shit. Turns out they're trying to butter up for Tyreek. And yeah, nothing really happened in that scene. The next scene I believe we have Hakeem actually in the studio, and he's working with Shine. And Shine pretty much lets Hakeem know about the mixing he's done, whatever, and wanted to see if Hakeem liked it, so he let him peep the music, whatever, the instrumental. Hakeem says he's feeling it. So Hakeem's getting ready to go in the booth, and he notices Nessa. And he's trying to make a play at Nessa. And Shine's like, listen, don't look at her. Don't ever talk to her. And then Hakeem's like, oh, man, I'm sorry, dude. I didn't know. You know what I mean? He's still trying to work his magic. And you're like, when you're watching see, you're like, man, this is definitely Lucius' son. Player. So, but Nessa's not buying it. Nessa's like, listen, I know all about the young Hakeem Lion. All he's really interested in is smashing thirst buckets. Young, stupid thirst buckets. So after that, Hakeem goes to the booth and he just fucking kills it. Especially with the skirt. It was fucking sick. Everybody that was watching the show, everybody that was, that was in the booth, in the studio, everybody was getting to that shit. That shit was straight fire. And you could tell near the end of it that Nessa and Hakeem are kind of feeling each other. Nessa won't admit it, but she kept on giving Hakeem them little googly eyes and shit. Or like, damn, he got it, So the next scene after that is, I believe, Jamal is... Wait, shit. Yeah, there was nothing that happened actually, before the Hakeem scene. It was a whole thing with Shine and Lucius, and Shine and Lucius pretty much made a deal in which Shine wanted Nessa to pretty much sing backup for Jamal during his concert for the Empire Extreme concert. He wanted her to sing the bridge and pretty much the bridge and the closing and all that shit. And Lucius was like, all right, fine. And after they agree to it, Lucius like, get some anger management get some anger management. And Sean's like, I'll try. And Lucius tells his security guy that something, Rule of Power 21, some type of book or whatever, he says, always let a sucker play a sucker. Something to that extent, and that pretty much Nessa's mic won't even be on, which will play a very pivotal role later in this episode. So this ironically connects to the next thing I was going to talk about, and that's Jamal. Jamal's performing, and it's pretty much a song based on the injustices that Black people are going through, especially certain unfair deaths like Sterling, Mike Brown, and so many others. So the performance was pretty good. It was tight. The vocals were all good. It was really good. And Cookie comes in, but after the performance, it seemed like Jamal's kind of out of breath. He seems kind of bothered. And they see him with pills. And Cookie asks Jamal, Cookie asks Jamal, she's like, so how bad is the pain? Jamal's like, it's about a 5 or 6, but it's getting better. And Cookie's like, listen, I know that's not the song that your father wanted you to sing at this concert. And Jamal's like, well, listen, I'm gonna ask for his forgiveness, but besides that, I don't give a shit. This is a song that I want to sing. So he goes into detail about Frida, saying that essentially, even though Frida shot him and people hate her for doing that, it's essentially his family's fault. And by family, he means Lucius's fault. And Cookie's like, listen, I don't have time for this. If you want to start a war with your father, just be prepared, And she just bounces after that. So the next scene we have, I believe, Lucius and Cookie going to the hospital to scoop up Anika before the feds get to her. But things doesn't go as planned. Anika checks herself out. Or I believe Lucius and Cookie thinks that Tyreek checked Anika out checked Anika out. So pretty much Cookie reminds Lucius that, listen, if Anika shows up at her apartment by herself with the baby, that's going to let the feds know that this marriage is a sham and we're fucked. So Lucius pretty much has his security people just pretty much pretty much intercept Anika before she goes to her apartment and bring her to his mansion. So when Anika is brought to her mansion, she speaks with the maid. I believe her name's Anita or my bad. Juanita. And we see this gorgeous baby. Oh my God. I must admit, Hakeem, Anika's daughter, is fucking gorgeous. And Anika and Juanita go to the kitchen. Anika mentions that it seemed like it's been redone. And we see Lucius's crazy ass mom chopping fucking vegetables, and she thinks that Anika is a snake and that she's going to try to poison her. So pretty much, like usual, Grandma Walker's off her rocker. Probably didn't take her pills today, even though I don't think it would make much of a damn bit of difference. So she pretty much tells Juanita, okay, just bring me to the nursery. All right, AKA this bitch is crazy. Get me away from her as soon as possible. So the next thing we have is that we have Tyreek pretty much in his car outside of Lucius's mansion. And we have Lucius's, servants, whatever, just have trays of food for him. And they ask, do you want some? We've been told by Lucius to serve you, these awesome delicacies. And Tyreek's like, nah, I'm good. And after they leave, Lucius shows up. And he says, listen, man, you can have all this. You know what I mean? And the guy's like, listen, I'm not interested. He said, and I think he said something about, I believe Tyreek mentioned something about having a warrant in order for him to pretty much just to tear that bitch down. He's gonna tear that mansion down piece by piece for evidence, once he gets his warrant. And Lucius like, listen, man, you don't need no warrant. You're family. Matter of fact, how about you come to dinner, tomorrow night? And Tyreek's like, all right. And then Tyreek is just kind of, after Lucius is walking off, he just kind of like watching Lucius, like wondering, like, what the hell is he thinking? So the next scene is, I believe, Hakeem finally be able to hold his daughter. And it was this really cute scene between him and Anika. And Lucius ruins it like he always ruins everything. He pretty much tells Hakeem listen, man, you can't even hold the baby right. He's telling to his granddaughter saying, Daddy's here. And you're like, what the fuck? And the same thing Hakeem and Anika was saying through their expression, like, what the fuck? And then Lucius had the audacity, and he's like saying, dude, does he have any respect for Hakeem? He's like saying to his granddaughter, Daddy's here, and it's not right for strangers to hold. You mean all that shit? You're saying yourself the disrespect. Hakeem just had a balance show before he probably bash his dad's head against the wall or some shit. And Anika, you could tell that she wasn't particularly feeling what Lucius did either. So it's gonna be interesting how things, transpire. So after that, we have this really pivotal dinner scene in which Tyreek is not even trying to eat any of the rich delicacies, the food, whatever. This nigga just eats asparagus, and he pretty much says to Lucius, listen, I'm not buying this. You know what I mean? He was saying most marriages have to be consummated, in regards to, Lucius and Anika. He was saying, do you really think I'm buying this sham? And Anika tries to pretty much show, Tyreek pretty much that this is not a sham. So she kisses Lucius, and Lucius is holding her wrist. So there are two possible things that you could get from this. One, which is probably the most obvious, is that he did that because he didn't want to hurt Cookie even more. You know what I'm saying? Or two, maybe he still does have feelings for Anika, and maybe that was a way of kind of making Anika just kind of slow her roll a bit. Or maybe Lucius's, you know what I mean? But we will find out in an upcoming episode. So anywho, Tyreek goes in on everybody once Grandma Crazy Walker says that Tyreek was the only one besides Andre that visited her in the home. And Tyreek says to Andre, hey, you remember me when you was a shorty? He's like, yeah, you do. And he was like, man, he said, you were an Ivy League student. And still, you're your father's number one henchman. What a waste of a great mind. And then you're like, damn. And then he looks at Hakeem. He's like, what's up? What about you, young bull? And Hakeem's like, what? He's like, your daddy has kicked you in the nuts over and over again. First, he takes your baby mama's, and then what else he do? Yeah, he took your baby mama and he took your daughter, and still you're at his table? And Hakeem at that point is like, damn, this nigga's, it's like, I've been trying to chill, man. Why are you bringing this shit up? And then Jamal was ready. Jamal was like, well, you got something, you want to say something about me now? I'm next. And then he's like, you're damn right, you're next. And Jamal's like, well, I'm going to pretty much make this long story short. My dad threw me in the trash can when I was 6. He made me marry a woman who I barely knew because he was afraid of my sexuality. And he was trying to take me down with some petty ass aces. But at the end of the day, that's my father. So if you're gonna take his family out, what is that? How can your bitch made badge do? Take us out. And Lucius all tells Jamal, be nice. He said, listen, Lucius pretty much is playing the part of what he truly is, the fucking devil incarnate. He's all saying, listen, brother, you're family. And as you can see, I take care of my family. I'm generous with my family. You can have all this. Instead of being in your apartment, eating baked beans out of a can, Vienna sausages, you can have all of this. Living the good life, And Tyreek's like, listen, you really gonna bribe a federal agent? And Lucius is like, Lucius not even saying anything, but he is smiling like, you're damn right. And then Cookie's like, you know what? You should just stop or just leave because you're losing. And then Tyreek just goes for the kill with what he says to Cookie. He says, what do you mean? He said, you're the biggest loser here. You're at a table that should have been yours from the get-go and still isn't. You served 17 years for what? Still playing second place to this mulatto bitch? And despite all you do, Lucius always uses you for his advantage, manipulates you, and you never learn at all. Cookie, you're the biggest loser, not me. And then when he says this, Andre goes off. He's like, who the hell are you? You think you are. And then Jamal's he gets up out his chair. He's about to fight, whatever. But it's something that's interesting about this. See, Hakeem was the only one that didn't get up from his chair. Excuse me. He was the only one. So the way I interpreted that is like, okay, is this Hakeem showing more growth? Because right after the whole Jamal and Andre situation, whatever, Cookie calmly stated that, you know what you say is true to a certain extent, but but Lucius did have a family growing up, nearly did you. Y'all both had bad lives, whatever, tough lives, whatever. But at the end of the day, me and Lucius created this. And at the end of the day, I'm always going to protect and do what's best for my family. So what you said to me really much, what you said to me pretty much in a long plan, scheme of things, and short term, don't matter. And that pretty much, not necessarily put Tyreek in his place, but pretty much was a really good retort to the shit he said to her, the disrespectful shit he said to her. But I don't know. It just seems that Hakeem and Cookie just seem to be a lot more calmer, than they were in the first 2 seasons of the show. I would say especially Cookie. Well, no, I would say especially Hakeem. But I don't know. It just seemed kind of weird to me why Hakeem was the only one that was kind of calm in that situation when usually he's the one overreacting and being a hothead. But anyways, the next scene, I believe we have the actual performance being done at the being live streamed, So Lucius opens up the show, the concert, introduces his son. We see Tiana, in the upper balcony of the joint. Hakeem's with his like 5 or 6 girls, probably 8 girls deep, that they're not showing us. Full screen, whatever. And Jamal's about to perform, but Jamal has like a panic attack / PTSD, which has a flashback to being shot, whatever. You see all the flashing lights and shit, and Hakeem saves the day, whatever, by pretty much like, just scooping up Jamal. He just takes it, he just like, we'll be back, y'all. And he brings Jamal to the back, whatever, and him and Cookie try to help out Jamal. Jamal's like he was really shaken up. And no one knows what to do. Everyone's kind of like, what the fuck? Like, and Nessa looks around, whatever, and she's not getting any cues about what to do since Jamal's not there. And she takes this opportunity and she does a fucking great job with that song. It was fucking beautiful. Jamal's fuck up, literally, in pro wrestling terms, put over Nessa in the sense that she's now a star now. And in the words of Shine, when he came to see Lucius, like near the end of the song, I guess we have to discuss business now, because Nessa is definitely the face of Empire streaming now because of her performance. And not just the performance, but just the message of it and just the mastery, just the song, just her voice was just so fucking awesome. Words can't even give her enough credit on her performance, on Nessa's performance. So anyhow, you have Cookie slapping the shit out of Jamal, and you're saying to yourself, really, Cookie? You didn't have to slap Jamal. This dude's clearly in some type of really fucked up state, panic attack, or like PTSD. So slapping ain't gonna do anything. That's really fucked up. I thought that was kind of unnecessary. And then you have Lucius. When Hakeem's asking Lucius for help in regards to Jamal, Lucius literally fucking points, his finger at as a gun, whatever, and just shoots him. And Hakeem's like, really? Really? And then after that, we have Lucius speaking with Jamal, saying, you son of a bitch, you did this on purpose. You tried to purposely sabotage this concert. And now, because of your fuck up, your selfishness, now Nessa is the face of Empire Stream or Extreme. And now Shine has more leverage on me. And you have Jamal saying, listen, man, This ain't my fault. This ain't Hakeem's fault. This ain't Ma's fault. This ain't Andre's fault. This ain't no one's fault except your own. It's your fault. You're the reason why all these bad things are happening. And when he said that, Luke, my bad. Lucius literally went 0 to 100 real quick. Well, I wouldn't say 0. I would say like 25 to 100 real quick. And he just started going to say, he would say, you think you're better than me? You think you're better than me? He said, I understand why you think you're better than me. Everyone thinks they're better than me. When I'm the one that be feeding their bitch asses, it's because of me. He pretty much tells Jamal, you have no right to judge me. He pretty much gives Jamal an ultimatum. If you want to try me, let me know. Pretty much saying, I'm ready to fight. You ready to fight? Bring it on. I'm waiting for you, essentially. And Jamal just kind of Jamal's not trying to fight. Jamal's just like trying to find a way just to end the fuckery that is the Lions. You know, just all the fuck shit that happens, whatever. And by him speaking truth to Lucius, you should know that never works. Lucius is always going to believe Lucius, and Lucius can't take criticism well. So, yeah. After that, we have this beautiful scene in which I believe Lucius is speaking to his granddaughter. Cookie comes in, and we have a flashback to how they met back when they were younger. Lucius says that the baby looks just like Cookie used to. And Cookie grabs her granddaughter, kind of looks at her, kind of embraces her a bit, and puts her, to the crib to sleep, whatever. And she pretty much tells Lucius, listen, I'm done. I have enough money. We're done. Just let me go. And Lucius is like, listen, when you say you let me go, that means I still got you. The Cookie's like, just listen to what I literally said, Lucius. Just let me go. All right? We don't have to see each other. You just deal with the business side. I just deal with the music. And that'll be that. Please, Lucius. And Lucius says, all right. And Cookie's like, thank you. And that's pretty much the ending of their scene for the rest of the episode. And there was one last scene in which the teddy bear turns out to be a camera that somehow Tyreek planted in it. And we see Lucius talking to the baby, whatever. So that's some crazy shit right there. I still wonder how Tyreek was able to get the camera in the fucking teddy bear in the first place. But yeah. Oh, there was one final scene. I'm sorry, guys. It's just something when you do reviews for such like a 1 hour, TV episode. There's so many other things that come to mind when you're actually babbling about other things that happen in the show. So Andre has his vision of Rhonda. And Rhonda pretty much, this vision of Rhonda Rhonda is saying that, yeah, it was Andre's fault. Because Andre was saying previously, he was like saying, Andre, it's Andre's fault. It's Andre's fault he died. It's Andre's fault that you weren't protected. And pretty much this ghost or a variation version of Rhonda is like, yeah, it is your fault. Without me, you have no one to help you with your meds. You have no one to help you stand up to your father or when to bow to your father. When to teach you how to be a man and all this stuff. Pretty much blah-dee-da. She pretty much says at the end of the day, without me, you're just some hopeless, bipolar, Philadelphia thug. And you're saying to yourself, I don't think the real Wanda would say some shit like that. She was always blunt, but I don't think she's that blunt. So the way I'm looking at it, maybe it's one of those things which is like a devil angel type thing. Like on the shoulder. Like you got a devil on one side, an angel on the other, type shit, which is going to happen. Maybe the next episode we're probably going to get the angel version of Rhonda. But it's whatever. Because I can just, I can just tell this is going to be a very great storyline for Andre. And at least we still have the actress that played Rhonda. So I'm expecting this to last for the rest of the season. And it just won't end at the mid-season finale. This is going to be for the duration of the remainder of Empire Season 3. And I can't wait to see how it ends. But yeah, so after, the variation, the ghost of Rhonda says this, Jamal comes in and says, are you all right? And Andre just snaps right back to normal. He's like, yeah, I'm all right. So, yeah, this was a great episode, you guys. Just really great. I'm looking forward to next week's episode. I think Season 3 is going to be better than even Season 1. And I think the first episode is already better than the majority episodes of Empire of the past season of Empire. And yeah, I just wanted to know what you guys think about it. Write some comments down below. Like the video. If you can subscribe to my channel if you can. And this is your boy Josh Vision. And once again, have a nice day, y'all.